Welcome to This Explainer. All right, let's just tear down the Hollywood myths right out of the gate, okay? Today, we're looking at the cold, hard reality of one of the most ruthless organizations on the planet. Because cartels, they aren't just chaotic street gangs, not even close. They are highly structured, ultra-efficient Fortune 500 companies. And today, we're going to take a journey up that corporate ladder, step by step.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to completely forget you're watching a screen right now. Just literally put yourself in these shoes. Imagine you are 15 years old, sitting on a cheap plastic chair outside a convenience store in Culiacan. You've got a phone, a Coke, and absolutely zero power. What does it actually take to survive and climb a corporate ladder, where failure doesn't just mean getting fired, it means you disappear entirely? Well, to understand the massive scale of this billion-dollar empire, we really have to start at the absolute bottom.
So, at the entry level, human life is, quite frankly, entirely disposable. You are just there to learn the system. The older guys actually consider you furniture. They don't talk to you, the cartel has zero loyalty to you, and you are completely replaceable. You start out as the lookout, and if you're lucky, you quickly move to the transporter. If you somehow survive that, you become the collector. The aging process in this line of work is insanely rapid, and the stakes are just unimaginably high. Now, as a lookout, your weekly pay is just a measly $100 in cash, no questions asked. Your entire existence basically boils down to watching a road. The local police, they just drive by and wave, because they're already on the payroll. But if you spot military trucks, the Marines, the guys who actually can't be bought, you text the word bird. If you see black SUVs with tinted windows rolling up, you text snake because that's a rival cartel. Sounds pretty simple, right? But listen, if a convoy rolls through and you freeze up, or maybe you fall asleep and forget to send that text, well, the cartel doesn't exactly do written warnings from HR. A man simply appears next to you and casually mentions that next time they'll bury you in the desert. Trust me, you don't forget again. And this brilliantly illustrates the insane risk versus reward here. Because if you survive being a lookout by 18, you might score a promotion to transporter. But this promotion comes with a terrifying stomach-dropping routine. Picture this. You show up at a warehouse at 6 a.m. They hand you the keys to a white semi-truck loaded to the brim with hundreds of watermelons. But secretly welded into the floor underneath all that fruit, 500 kilograms of methamphetamine. Your job is to make an 8-hour drive from Sinaloa to Tijuana. Every single time headlights flash in your rearview mirror, your stomach absolutely drops. Because if you get stopped, you are doing 20 years in a maximum security prison. And the cartel? They aren't sending lawyers, they're just going to find a new driver. But if you make it, you're handed an envelope stuffed with $3,000. Suddenly, you're making more in a single month than your parents made in a year. So you prove you're a reliable driver, right? By your early 20s, they hand you a gun and a list of addresses. Congratulations, you are now the collector. Your job is enforcing monthly taxes on local businesses within your plaza, which is just the cartel's designated territory. The tax is on a sliding scale. It's like $500 for a taco stand, $2,000 for a pharmacy, and all the way up to $10,000 for a nightclub. Most people know the rules and they just pay up. But if a restaurant owner tries to claim business is slow, you come back that night, smash every window, and beat him unconscious in his own kitchen. The next month, he pays double. You're now making $1,500 a week. You buy a BMW, you buy your mom a nice house. But earning this kind of cash makes you a massive target. Rival cartels want your territory, and the government wants to make an example out of you. Literally every time you step out onto the street to collect, you are totally exposed. By 25, you've made it to middle management. You're a cell leader, and the money? It absolutely skyrockets. You could be taking home up to $100,000 a month. Think about that. You're managing a crew of 10 men and taking in 100 kilos of cocaine every month directly from the cartel. You break it all down, sell it off to distributors, kick the money up the chain, and keep a clean 10% for yourself. You've got the huge house with the pool, you've got the respect, and you've got a girlfriend who actually thinks you own a construction company. But behind the scenes, you are managing absolute chaos. Because as a cell leader, you're the one responsible for security. If rivals try to muscle into your plaza, you don't sit around waiting for orders. You handle it yourself with AK-47s. You might literally send 6 guys into a crowded bar to open fire, leaving a dozen people dead just to send a message. But the real dark side here is managing your own young, chaotic recruits. The guys who get high on their own supply and attract all kinds of unwanted attention. You have to discipline them, sometimes with a beating, sometimes with a bullet. And the pressure coming down from the regional bosses above you, it's relentless. They always want more money. If you fail to deliver, you're replaced. And in this business, well, replacement is permanent. So the crucial point is, when you finally hit executive management, you become a regional operator. You're controlling an entire city. You are laundering $200,000 a month through a string of restaurants and car washes. But this is your daily reality now. You are fighting a non-stop two-front war. The DEA has your phone tapped. Government forces are actively hunting you. Rivals want you dead. And to make it worse, the ambitious guys in your very own organization are gunning for your job. You're sleeping maybe 4 hours a night. You only communicate in code. You show up at secret meetings in armored SUVs. The paranoia is real. You trust absolutely no one, not even your own brother. Now, if you somehow survive the regional wars, you become the plaza boss. You run the entire state. Every single drug shipment, every murder, every bribe, it all goes through you. You command an army of 500 armed men and generate $20 million a month in revenue. You literally control politicians and generals by handing them suitcases stuffed with millions of dollars. But there's an incredibly heavy price. You are completely trapped in a golden cage. You can't even go to your own daughter's quinceañera because it's just too dangerous. You can't visit your mother's grave because snipers might be waiting for you. The claustrophobia is intense. You're executing your own men based on mere suspicion just to stay safe. You have absolutely everything you could ever want and nothing you actually need.
At this level, you aren't just a gangster anymore. You function identically to a multinational corporate CEO. The sheer scale of what you're managing is just staggering. You're coordinating complex logistics across continents, importing cocaine from Colombia, securing precursor chemicals from China, moving marijuana from the mountains and heroin from the poppy fields. You're overseeing shipments through massive tunnels dug under the US border. You're managing actual narco submarines, and you're operating fleets of high-tech drones. Sure, you're personally clearing $1 million a month, but honestly, at this point, money's just a number on a screen.
And then we reach the apex, the cartel leader. Whether you inherited the whole empire or you literally killed your way to the top, you are now the boss. Your organization moves 100 tons of cocaine every single year. You've got operational cells spread out across 15 different countries. You have politicians across 6 states entirely under your thumb, and your personal net worth? A staggering $3 billion. You are sitting at the absolute top of the food chain, casually dividing up the regions of Mexico with other cartel leaders like you're in some kind of corporate boardroom negotiation. Let's move to and see how this builds, because reaching that absolute top, it's the ultimate trap. The reality of being a cartel leader is so far from glamorous. Yes, you are the most powerful criminal in the Western Hemisphere, but you're also the most hunted man on planet Earth. There is a $10 million US bounty on your head right now. Mexican special forces are actively trying to take you out. You have to bounce between safe houses every 3 days. You've had plastic surgery twice, to the point where your own children don't even recognize your face anymore. And the ultimate catch here? You can never ever retire. If you try to just walk away, your own people will assassinate you because you simply know too much. You are completely, hopelessly trapped inside the very empire that you built. Which brings us to the inevitable end of the road, because eventually, they get you. Maybe it's a massive raid, or maybe it's a quiet betrayal by your inner circle. But you don't go out in some cinematic blaze of glory. No, you end up here, ADX Florence, the Supermax prison in Colorado. 23 hours a day in total utter isolation, 4 concrete walls, a heavy steel door, and 0 windows. All your millions? Useless. No bribery works here. No army of 500 men is coming to break you out. El Chapo is sitting in the cell right next to yours. You used to have billions and run a global empire, and now you have exactly 4 concrete walls and the rest of your natural life to sit in complete silence and think about every single person you killed to get there.
But honestly, here is the most chilling part of all of this. The cartel, it doesn't die with you in that supermax cell. A nephew, a son, some ambitious lieutenant, a successor always steps up. The drugs keep flowing, the millions keep moving, and the bodies just keep piling up. The machine simply replaces you. You just become a ghost story, a cautionary tale about getting a little too greedy. Because right now, as you sit here and watch this, there is another 15-year-old kid in Culiacan, sitting on a plastic chair outside a convenience store, watching the road, just waiting for his chance to climb. It really forces us to ask,